Okay, students, welcome back. So, up to now, we studied about matter, we studied about its measurements, uncertainties in measurements, right? So, after studying the quantitative measurements of many reactions, it was observed that whenever substances react, they do so according to some certain laws. Fine. जितने भी सब्सटेंस आपस में रिएक्ट करते हैं वो कुछ लॉज के अकॉर्डिंग करते हैं एंड वेन एवर सब्सटेंसेस रिएक्ट इट मीन्स दे रिएक्ट इन अकॉर्डिंग्स टू दीज फॉलोइंग 6 laws. Okay, these following 6 laws which is known as law of chemical combinations. So what are these laws? It is law of conservation of mass, then law of definite proportion, law of multiple proportion, law of reciprocal proportion, Gay-Lussac's law of gaseous volume, and Avogadro's law. Okay, now let's study these laws one by one. First is law of conservation of mass. Now this law was stated by a French chemist, Antoine Laurent Lavoisier, in the year 1774. This is him. And what it states, this law states that during any physical or chemical change, the total mass of the product remains equal to the total mass of the reactants. Alright, after during any physical or chemical change, the total mass of the product is always equal to the total mass of the reactants. Or it can also be stated like this, that matter can neither be created nor be destroyed, but it is just transformed from one form to another form. Alright, this law is also known as law of indestructibility of matter, means matter cannot be destroyed. Now, you can see in this picture, there are two pictures I can show you over here. It is taken from somewhere. So these two pictures, you can see that picture 1 contains a baking soda and vinegar, alright, and the individually, and the mass is then weighed. It was found out that before reaction, before mixing baking soda and vinegar, the mass is 113 grams, alright, and after mixing them, after mixing these two, it was found out that the mass was still 113 gram. Okay, so in these two pictures you can see that the picture 1 contains baking soda and vinegar, and the mass is weighed before mixing them, and it is 113 gram. After mixing, when baking soda and vinegar reacted and carbon dioxide gas is released, the mass was still same. Alright, so mass is not changed. So what really happened here? Basically what happened is that the elements, they are basically rearranged themselves. Alright, that is why the mass did not change. So for example, if I say that baking soda, NaHCO3, sodium hydrogen carbonate, and vinegar is there, okay, and it is getting reacted, and we get this plus H2O plus carbon dioxide gas. Okay, so this is a base and this is an acid. It is giving you a salt and water. Simple reaction is you are getting, and carbon dioxide gas is released. Now if you see the elements, right, on both sides of the equation, in the reactant side, if I see, what are the elements we have? Sodium we have hydrogen, we have carbon, we have oxygen, right? And in the reactant product side also, we have sodium, we have hydrogen, we have carbon, we have oxygen. So sodium, how many elements or atoms of sodium is there? Only 1. How many hydrogen is there? We have 3 plus 1 4 plus 1 5. 5 hydrogens are there. Carbon 2, here 3 carbon. And how many oxygen? 3 5. On the reactant side we have this. In the product side, let's see, again we have sodium 1, hydrogen we have 5, right? Carbon we have 3, and oxygen we have again 2 3 4 5, again 5. Alright, so you can see here that the elements all are balanced. these are balanced in both sides of the equation, and it is also rearranged. So baking soda and vinegar, it shows law of conservation of mass. Okay, so when a substance undergoes a chemical reaction, you might assume, you might think that some or even all of the matter present is disappearing, is destroying, but in actually what is happening, it is just simply changing form. That is why it is said that matter, it cannot be created, it is not created or destroyed, it is just changed from one form to another. Means whatever matter you have here using right now, it may be somehow transformed into this from some another source, right? Okay. Also, during any physical and chemical change, the total mass of the reactant remains equal to the total mass of the product. Now, some other real life example you can see. You can see here, this is a burning of wood, and burning is a chemical process. All right. So whenever the wood burns, all right, if you just suppose that if you have a tree which is 300 kg, which has 300 kgs of weight. Now, if this 300 kg of tree is somehow it is burned, all right, we should not burn tree, we should not destroy tree, we should always plant trees. But still, if it is an example that somehow due to forest fire or something, this much this tree is burnt, all right. So the mass of the soot here you can see, or the ashes or the gases, it actually equals the original mass of the charcoal and wood and the whatever you are getting, right? So when you weigh this product, when the tree, it has 300 kg, when it is burned down, if you weigh the product over here, just suppose you find out that the product you get is 200 and out of 30 kgs, just suppose that you got 10 kg of this ash. All right, so you must be thinking that the tree was of 300 kgs and we got just 10 kg, means the rest of the matter is destroyed. Where is the 290 kgs of matter? Where did it go? You must be thinking. So basically what happened is, this 290 kgs of matter must be the gases or the oxygen, right, which was there, which was released into the atmosphere. All right, which was released into the atmosphere. So basically it has been transformed, it is transformed from one to another. Similarly, just you imagine a burning candle, just you imagine a burning candle over here. All right, now when you burn a candle, once the candle completely burns down, though you can see that there is definitely some less wax over here when it is burned down, some less wax you will find out, okay, but as compared to what was before you lit it. So this means that some of the wax has been transformed into gases, water vapors and carbon dioxide. Okay, so it just transformed from one form to another form. So numerically, if I want to show it to you, just suppose that if you have some X plus Y reactants which is converting into some product P plus Q. All right, these are the reactants and these are the product. So total mass of the reactant, if you'll see, total mass of the reactant, just suppose the X is 6 gram and the Y is 5 gram. Okay, X is 6 gram and the Y is 5 gram. So total 11 grams. All right, so here the P, just suppose कि 5 ग्राम आपको X था, 5 ग्राम 6 ग्राम आपका X था, 5 ग्राम आपका Y था, तो क्या होगा कि प्रोडक्ट आपको कितना मिलेगा? आपको 11 ग्राम ही प्रोडक्ट मिलना चाहिए, ठीक है। भले ही आपको अगर ये 4 मिले, ठीक है, 4 ग्राम P मिले और ये आपका यहाँ पे आपका 7 ग्राम मिले, है ना, Q आपका 7 ग्राम मिले, it doesn't matter, but the total mass of the reactant and total mass of the product still be the same. Okay, so basically how much product you will get, it depends on the component of the reactants. All right, So what I'm trying to say is total mass of the reactants and total mass of the product should be same. Okay, it is known as the law of conservation of mass. Alright. Now here see there is a question for you. Let's solve it out. That if 6.3 gram of sodium hydrogen carbonate are added to 15.0 gram of acetic acid solution, the residue is found to weigh this much gram. What is the mass of carbon dioxide released in the reaction? Now see, first of all, let's write out the reaction over here. Okay, this is again a acid base reaction. It gives you a salt and water plus water plus here carbon dioxide gas is released. So this is the residue which the question is asking. This is the residue. So how much gram of sodium hydrogen carbonate or baking soda we have taken here? 6.3 gram. And it is reacting with how much CH3 COOH? It is 15.0 gram. And how much residue we are getting? It is 18.0 gram. So we have to find out the mass of carbon dioxide released in the reaction. So it is X. Let's assume it is X. So we know according to law of conservation of mass, sum of the reactants is always equal to the sum of the product. So with this we can easily calculate. So let's sum the reactants. 15.0 and product is 18.0 plus X. So with the simple calculation, X is equal to, we can easily write it out like this, that X is equal to how much we will get? We will get 3.3 grams. Okay, now just add this 3.3 grams over here. 18 plus 3.3 grams, it is how much? It is 21.3 gram in the product side, and add the reactants. So it is also 21.3 grams. So see, this proves that this equation or this question is in accordance with the law of conservation of mass. Alright. Now let's see another question. It is a somewhat of different type of question, but still you will get to understand. Now see, 0.22 gram of hydrocarbon is there, which on combustion with oxygen it gives 0.44 gram carbon dioxide and 0.9 gram of water. Show that this result follows law of conservation of mass. Alright. Now you have some hydrocarbon over here. Hydrocarbon is what? Which is made up of hydrogen and carbon, like methane, ethane, propane, butane, etc. So this hydrocarbon on combustion, okay, in presence of oxygen, it gives carbon dioxide and water. Alright. So how much hydrocarbon we have taken? And according to the question, it is 0.22 gram. And how much carbon dioxide we are getting? It is 0.44 gram. And how much water we are getting? It is 0.9 gram. So at first you must be thinking that let's add this. Alright, let's add this. After adding, you must be now thinking that this is not in accordance with law of conservation of mass. But here this question is not going to be solved like this. Okay, now just see. What question is that? That we have hydrocarbon which on combustion with oxygen gives 0.44 gram carbon dioxide and this much of water. Now in hydrocarbon, I just said that hydrocarbon is made up of carbon and hydrogen. But here the mass which is given over here, this mass is also of oxygen, means here 0.44 gram we have carbon dioxide we got as a product, but this mass also contains the mass of carbon as well as oxygen, है ना. कार्बन ऑक्सीजन दोनों का मास मिला के हमें 0.44 ग्राम मिला है. उसी तरीके से वाटर में भी 0.9 ग्राम हमें हाइड्रोजन और ऑक्सीजन दोनों का मास मिला है. तो हमें अगर हम लॉ ऑफ कंजर्वेशन मास को प्रूव करना चाहते हैं तो हमने जितना हाइड्रोकार्बन लिया है 0.22 ग्राम, तो उसमें क्या है, हमारे पास कार्बन और हाइड्रोजन है, तो उसी का मास से ये बना है ना, उसी का मास इतना हमें दिखा रहा है. लेकिन यहाँ पे हमारे पास ऑक्सीजन भी प्रेजेंट है प्रोडक्ट में, तो हमें क्या करना होगा, इसमें से कार्बन और हाइड्रोजन के मास को एक्सट्रैक्ट करना पड़ेगा, फिर हमें उसको ऐड करना पड़ेगा, फिर हमें देखना होगा कि हाइड्रोकार्बन ये है कि नहीं, मतलब लॉ ऑफ कंजर्वेशन ऑफ मास के साथ ही फॉलो कर रहा है कि नहीं, ठीक है। तो नाउ जस्ट सी, नाउ द कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड, ऑलराइट, mass of carbon in carbon dioxide is what? It is 12, and mass of oxygen in carbon dioxide is 32. So together it forms the molecular mass of carbon dioxide, that is 44 gram. It means that 12 gram of carbon, 12 gram of carbon, by using 12 gram of carbon we are getting 44 gram of carbon dioxide. Okay, so how much carbon do we need to get 0.44 gram of carbon dioxide? 12 ग्राम कार्बन से हमें 44 ग्राम कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड मिल रहा है। हम इधर ऑक्सीजन के मास को हम निगलेक्ट अभी कर रहे हैं, हम तो नहीं देख रहे हैं इसको। क्यों नहीं देख रहे? क्योंकि हमें हाइड्रोकार्बन का मास को ऐड करना होगा ना, तब जाके हम पता लगाएंगे लॉ ऑफ कंजर्वेशन ऑफ मास। तो मैंने अभी जस्ट बताया आपको कि कार्बन के मास को हम इससे एक्सट्रैक्ट करेंगे, ठीक है। तो 12 ग्राम कार्बन 44 ग्राम कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड बनाने में कंट्रीब्यूट करता है। तो कितना ग्राम कार्बन 0.44 ग्राम कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड बनाने में कंट्रीब्यूट करेगा, ठीक है। तो इसको हम x मान लेते हैं। लेट्स अज्यूम दिस एज x, ऑलराइट। सो दीज आर द टू इक्वेशंस विच वी हैव। नाउ जस्ट क्रॉस मल्टीप्लाई दीज टू इक्वेशंस, ऑलराइट। मीन्स 12 ग्राम कार्बन into 0.44 gram of carbon dioxide is equal to x into 44 gram. So we can easily find out the value of x, 12 gram into 0.44 gram divided by 44 gram. You see the gram cancel, okay, and 0.44 gram is there, so it is x, which is actually 0.12 gram. Alright, means that 12 ग्राम कार्बन से हमें 44 ग्राम कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड मिल रहा है। तो हमें 0.12 ग्राम कार्बन से कितना ग्राम कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड मिलेगा? 0.44 ग्राम कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड मिलेगा, ठीक है। मीन्स दिस इज़ द फ्रॉम 0.22 ग्राम, ये जो आपके पास कितना 0.44 ग्राम कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड जो आपको मिला है, उसमें से 0.12 ग्राम क्या है? कार्बन है। समझ गए बात को? उसी तरीके से हम हाइड्रोजन का भी निकाल लेंगे, मतलब वाटर का निकाल लेंगे। यहाँ पे जो वाटर है, वाटर कितना दिया हुआ है? 0.9 ग्राम, इज़न्ट इट? वाटर कितना दिया हुआ है हमारे पास? 0.9 ग्राम है। मीन्स वाटर H2O कितने, इसका मॉलिक्यूलर मास होता है 18 ग्राम, है ना। मीन्स 2 ग्राम आपका हाइड्रोजन प्लस 16 ग्राम ऑक्सीजन। मीन्स वी कैन से दैट 2 ग्राम हाइड्रोजन से हमें 18 ग्राम वाटर मिल रहा है ना। तो कितना ग्राम हाइड्रोजन से हमें 0.9 ग्राम वाटर मिलेगा? अगेन क्रॉस मल्टीप्लाई करो, क्रॉस मल्टीप्लाई करके इसको y मान लेते हैं हम लोग। y की वैल्यू हमें मिल जाएगी 0.9 इंटू 2 डिवाइडेड बाई 18, विच इज़ 0.10 ग्राम। मीन्स 0.9 ग्राम जो आपको यहाँ प्रोडक्ट मिला है, लेट मी रब दिस, 0.9 ग्राम आपको जो यहाँ पे प्रोडक्ट मिला है, इसमें से हाइड्रोजन कितना है? 0.10 ग्राम, ठीक है। और इसमें से कार्बन कितना आया? 0.12 ग्राम, ठीक है। आउट ऑफ 0.44 ग्राम कार्बन कितना है? 0.12 ग्राम। नाउ जस्ट ऐड इट आउट, दोनों को ऐड करो। तो ऐड करने के बाद कितना आएगा? कार्बन हाइड्रोजन को ऐड करो, आएगा ना 0.22 ग्राम। यही तो है हाइड्रोकार्बन, ऑलराइट, यही है ना हाइड्रोकार्बन की वैल्यू। यहाँ पे भी आपने 0.22 ग्राम हाइड्रोकार्बन मिला था, उसमें कार्बन और हाइड्रोजन कितना टोटल बना रहे हैं, मास इसका कितना आ रहा है? 0.22 ग्राम। सो दिस रिजल्ट फॉलोज लॉ ऑफ कंजर्वेशन ऑफ मास, ऑलराइट। So I hope you have understood this question, alright. So basically mass of reactant is equal to mass of product, alright. Now there is a limitation of this law of conservation of mass. So what is the limitation? The limitation over here is that this law of conservation of mass, it cannot be followed, or you can say it is not obeyed in nuclear reactions. Now why it is so? Now, in nuclear reactions, law of conservation of mass is not obeyed because it has been found out that all of the nuclear reaction, they have some mass defect. So basically what happens is mass is converted into, some of the mass of the reactants is converted into product, and this has been proved by Einstein's special theory of relativity, E is equal to delta mc square, and it has been found out that some of the mass is converted into energy. Alright, so that is why here the law of conservation of mass is not followed in nuclear reactions. This you will study in detail in nuclear chemistry. Now, the next law that we have is law of constant proportion or law of definite proportion. Okay, so what does this law states? This was discovered by a French chemist, Joseph Proust in 1799. Now, this law states that a compound always contains elements in a fixed ratio by mass, irrespective of the source from which they were obtained. So Proust, what did he do now? He was working on some natural CuCO3. Alright, and he found out that CuCO3, which was found on the Earth's crust, the percentage of copper to this carbonate is something similar to what he synthesized in his lab. He also synthesized copper carbonate in his lab, and he found out that the percentage of copper carbonate which was found out from the Earth's crust and the percentage of copper carbonate which is found out from the lab which he synthesized is same. It has the same ratio. The copper to carbonate ratio is same. So it implies that this law states that in a chemical reaction, the elements are always present in a fixed ratio by mass and not some any arbitrary ratio by mass. Alright. For example, pure water or water of any kind, it can be obtained from different sources like river, well, spring, sea, etc. So it always contain hydrogen and oxygen combined together in a ratio of 1:8 by mass. Now how 1:8? Now what is the mass of hydrogen? 2. मतलब एक हाइड्रोजन का 1 है, 2 हाइड्रोजन is there, so 2. And oxygen, the mass of oxygen is 16. So if I just divide this over here and convert it into the simple ratio form, then we will get 1:8. So water, alright, here the mass is fixed. The mass of water is fixed over here. Okay, so that is why water, from whichever source you are collecting the water, the ratio of hydrogen and oxygen is always in the form of 1:8 by mass. Okay, so if I take here, just suppose that in water H2O, if I add some extra oxygen over here, वाटर में मान लो H2 है हमारे पास, तो ऑक्सीजन में मैंने एक एक्स्ट्रा ऑक्सीजन ऐड कर दिया, तो क्या ये वाटर रहेगा? नहीं, अब ये वाटर नहीं है. दिस इज़ known as hydrogen peroxide. This is known as hydrogen peroxide. So water is used for drinking, but hydrogen peroxide, it is used as a disinfectant. We cannot use it for drinking. And also see the ratio of water, hydrogen and oxygen is changed. Here it is 2 and here oxygen is 32. So ratio is 1:16. Also the ratio is changed. So you can see if one element adds or if one element subtract, alright, so the compound is changed and its utility is also changed. Fine. Similarly, carbon dioxide or nitrogen monoxide, nitrogen dioxide, all these can be obtained from other sources, but the ratio in which they are combining, it is always fixed by mass. So carbon dioxide, it can be obtained by different methods, like if you burn carbon and oxygen, then if you heat limestone, then when some dilute HCl is being acted on marble pieces, so in this way carbon dioxide is produced. So whatever sample of carbon dioxide you are taking, it is observed that the carbon and oxygen are always combined in the ratio of 12:32. Or if I convert it in simple ratio form, it is 3:8. We cannot form CO5. It is not possible. Okay, because it has been found out that carbon, 12 grams of carbon combines with 32 grams of oxygen to form 44 gram of carbon dioxide. Okay, so this is law of constant proportion or definite proportion. All right. So also one more thing, that table salt NaCl is made up of one atom of sodium and one atom of chlorine. Now this exact same proportion of sodium and chlorine must always be combined in order to form salt. Okay, otherwise if you will not combine this in a particular this ratio which is required, then some other compound will be formed which has different uses, right? It will not be edible maybe. So law of definite proportion ensures that chemical compounds are always created using the same proportion. All right, now let's see one numerical related to this. Now you can see in an experiment 2.4 gram of iron oxide on reduction with hydrogen yields 1.68 gram of iron. Okay, and in another experiment 2.9 gram of iron oxide give 2.03 gram of iron on reduction with hydrogen. Show that the above data illustrates the law of constant proportion. So there are two experiments which are being conducted over here. First experiment, and here we have second experiment. Now in the first experiment, mass of iron oxide is given, it is 2.4 gram, and in the second experiment mass of iron oxide is given to be how much? It is 2.03 grams. Okay, now what is done here, that iron oxide is reduced. Oxidation, reduction. Oxidation is addition of oxygen, reduction is removal of oxygen. So we can clearly know that iron oxide is being reduced, means the oxide is removed from iron oxide, right? The oxygen is removed over here. So after reduction, the mass of iron, after reduction, now we don't have oxygen, oxide nahi rahega na. So mass of iron after reduction is given in the question, it is 2.9 grams, and mass of iron oxide in the second experiment, or iron after reduction in the second experiment, it is given, it is how much after reduction? This is 2.09, my bad, just a minute, 2.9 gram, and here after reduction the iron we got is 2.03 gram. Now you have to show that this data illustrates the law of chemical constant proportion is not, means the mass of or ratio of iron and oxygen is same or not. So to find out this, we need to know how much oxygen was there. So mass of oxygen, if you want to calculate mass of oxygen, क्या करेंगे हमें मास ऑफ आयरन तो पता चल गया आफ्टर रिडक्शन, तो मास ऑफ ऑक्सीजन कितना होगा, टोटल मास से हम लोग मास ऑफ आयरन को माइनस कर देंगे, मीन्स मास ऑफ आयरन ऑक्साइड जितना था हमारे एक्सपेरिमेंट करने से पहले, उससे हम माइनस कर देंगे मास ऑफ आयरन को, ठीक है, मास ऑफ आयरन को. सो क्या हो जाएगा, हमारे पास क्या मिलेगा, 2.4 माइनस 1.68 विच इज़ 0.72 ग्राम्स. यहाँ देखते हैं मास ऑफ ऑक्सीजन, अगेन मास ऑफ ऑक्सीजन निकाल लेते हैं. बिफोर एक्सपेरिमेंट मास ऑफ आयरन ऑक्साइड 2.9 माइनस आफ्टर एक्सपेरिमेंट, आफ्टर रिडक्शन आयरन का मास हो गया 2.03. लेट्स सब्ट्रैक्ट इट एंड वी गेट द मास ऑफ ऑक्सीजन इज here the mass of oxygen we get is 0.87 grams. So now let's see the ratio of what? Ratio of oxygen and iron. So oxygen है 0.72 and iron is how much? It is 1.68. Okay, here there is a little bit of issue. Just a minute. Here the mass of iron after reduction that we got is 1.68 in the question. 1.68, right. So here 0.72 is to 1.68, which is equal to 1 is to 2 is 2.33, alright, और 1 is to 2 सिंपल रेशियो में, ठीक है. अब यहाँ पे इसका रेशियो देखते हैं, किसका, ऑक्सीजन का एंड आयरन का. इट इज़ हाउ मच, इट इज़ 0.87 is to 2.03, which is equal to 1 is to 2 again, means 1 is to 2. But in both the experiments, in the first and second experiment, I can clearly find out that the ratio of oxygen to iron is same. This means that this data illustrates law of constant proportion. Okay. So these are the two laws. In the next video, I will be explaining the next laws. Thank you so much.